Thank you for playing You Don't Know Jack, the re-ride. Playing alone, are you? Don't worry, we won't resent you for it. Is this your first time on the re-ride? The team will be pleased. They are quite tired of having to spell everything out to all those newbies. As you no doubt know, these are your buzzers. Please allow me to remind you that this is a non-profit fan project in no way associated with Jackbox Games. That's it for our time together. I will see you at the bottom.
It's time for the show where high culture and pop culture collide. This episode of The Re-Ride is brought to you by Force Feedback Underwear, undergarments that keep your rear in gear while keeping your privates covered. And now, from the broadcast booth to the recording booth, here's Sam Feely.
Well, if it isn't our shining beacon of integrity, are you vehemently against cheat codes because you have morals or because you've just gotten 360 no-scoped and teabagged one too many times? Whatever the reason, I got two words for you. Get good. Grab your pawns, cards, boards, controllers, and keyboards, and let the games begin. Something big. There's our money, and here's our category. It's a heated gaming moment, Charlie Brown. Alright, I want you to imagine the following scene from a Peanuts cartoon. Charlie Brown and Lucy are playing with Charlie Brown medallions. How will this game most likely play out? Jace the Mind Sculptor is a Magic the Gathering card, and the Charlie Brown medallions are a series of rare misprinted Magic cards that were printed on the same press as some Peanuts comics and depict portions of those comics. And for those of you who aren't Magic players, I can tell you from experience that playing against Jace the Mind Sculptor is as painful as Lucy yanking the football away from you. Buzz in for the Bucks, baby. Here we have Geneva Conventions 3: New Frontiers. So as we all know, the Geneva Conventions of 1929 and 1949 established, among other things, international legal standards for humanitarian treatment of prisoners of war. Now tell me this. What was established at the Geneva Convention of 1968? A computer game company, a pro football card game, a place to play tabletop games, or a major poker tournament? Roll for intelligence. That hits. The annual tabletop gaming convention Gen Con was founded as the Lake Geneva War Games Convention by Dungeons & Dragons creator Gary Gygax in Lake Geneva, Wisconsin in 1968. Talk to me, kiddo. Give me a value. Moving right on to War Crime Games. And speaking of the Geneva Conventions, if it were a real-life war, how would the Japanese board game shogi break the Geneva? In shogi, you can hold on to captured pieces and drop them onto the board as your own piece, and making prisoners of war serve a hostile power is a war crime. Hit your buzzer to set the... Today's special... The Geneva Conventions are sus. Okay, one last war crime question. Now, regardless of how you feel about the game Among Us or the memes that it spawned, tell me, how was Among Us an actual real-life war crime? The game laundered money for a terrorist group? The Red Cross symbol is owned by the International Committee of the Red Cross and is not in public domain, and unlicensed use of the symbol, such as on health packs and Among Us and other video games, is technically a violation of the Geneva Conventions. And while no video game developer has ever been sent to The Hague for using the symbol, I can think of a few games that should, at the very least, send whoever greenlit them to their local jail. Looking at you, Superman 64. Okay, buzz in and let's find out how much money the... Hey, don't sweat it. Crack those knuckles and take a crack at this dis or dat. Here's the category for your dis or dat. A blizzard of gratuitous violence. I'm going to list off 7 names, and for each one, I would love for you to tell me if it's a character from the Overwatch video games or the title of a Jason Statham movie. You'll get some money for each right answer, and you'll lose money for each wrong answer and any ones you don't get to. You've got 30 seconds to get all 7. Don't let that wire fill up. Get your fingers on those numbers. It's time to party. The Transporter, Overwatch character, Widowmaker, Soldier 76, Crank, Mean Machine, Reaper, Trace. Now that's what I call play of the game. Let's check out your new total, hotshot. Take a picture. It'll last longer. Okay, friend. Nothing too spicy, just the right temperature. Here's what we're cooking. Now, class, turn to level 73. And right this way, please. Suppose you told your parents you won't go to school until they add video games to the curriculum. Because it was the first country to add a video game to its recommended readings in public schools, where should your parents send you? South Korea, Brazil, Poland, or Australia? In 2020, the Chancellery of the Prime Minister of Poland added the video game This War of Mine to the country's public high school reading list. The game is based on wartime atrocities in Bosnia in the 1990s. So your parents are sending you off to Poland. And once you find out you're playing a video game about history and not playing Fortnite 8 hours a day, your pleas to come home will fall on deaf ears, you brat. Rise and shine. And we call this one My Lasagna Recipes from Cooking Mama. Take your seats, the show's about to begin. Because one of their games set the video game industry's standard of Tuesday releases, which character could convince Garfield to make it through Monday so he can love Tuesday? Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog, Mario, or Master Chief? You know you could have picked this one instead, right? Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was the first video game to have a coordinated global launch. Sega released the game in North America and Europe on Tuesday, November 24th, 1992, and dubbed the event Sonic Tuesday. Tuesday releases became the industry standard soon afterward. How much is this one worth to you? Cash Cab is for amateurs. Remember to buzz in when you see the item that correctly unites the pair on the screen. And the one of you who correctly answers the final bonus question will pocket some big bucks. Okay, let's shift this thing into overdrive. CNN host Larry and Elvis Presley's nickname. Score! Freddie Mercury's band and Elizabeth II's title. Score! Batman is the Dark Blank, and David Hasselhoff's show Blank Rider. Score! Hard Hit in Ice Hockey, and Twitter Blue Badge. Advancement at work, and advertisement of a product. The house with a blank in its walls, and to end one shift equals blank out. To reproduce sexually, an Australian term of endearment. Now it's time for the bonus. What do all of the correct answers have in common? Are they all tabletop RPG mechanics? Chess? Yes, sir! Yep, they're chess words. Now let's make like a chess piece and check the board. Well, you're clearly beating yourself. Now's the time to hit See, this is how it's done, and here's what we're doing next. Avengers, game over. Let's check out the question. Imagine there's a new Avengers movie where the Avengers get really jealous when they find out none of their movies aren't even close to the best-selling video game of all time. How will they most likely exact revenge? The best-selling video game of all time is Minecraft, which has grossed over $3 billion over the last decade, plus more than any movie ever. But who knows? Maybe the next version of Tetris will kick its ass. Okay, how much money? Hopefully this is an appetizer for something bigger down the road. Here's the next course. Gaming convention food and other culinary horrors. Here's the pitch. Which of these made-up crossover video games combines a restaurant chain with a game by a company with the same founder? Atari founder Nolan Bushnell founded Chuck E. Cheese in 1977 in part as a way to distribute Atari arcade games such as Pong. I always knew there was something fishy about that creepy-ass robot rat. He was sent in to get kids addicted to video games. The spy is laid bare now. He's a naked mole rat. Hey, I'm serious here. Pick a value, any value. The final boss is upon you. Here's a full heal and a loading screen tip. Allow me to introduce myself. Will your exit be as dramatic as these characters' entrances? Let's find out. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, your final score. Hell of a game. What are you going to spend your winnings on? A car? Down payment on a house? Maybe a friend?